To create a pyramid, you can create a rectangular, square, or triangular pyramid, or really any kind of pyramid, using your polygon tools over here. So first you need to have on your toolbar, the toolbar for um, for your drawing tools, which I have right here. So you would click on View, Toolbars, and your drawing tools to have those available. It's also very helpful to have your measurement toolbar turned on, which I have down here at the bottom where it says sides. So let's turn both of those on. I'm going to start by using the Polygon tool, and you can determine how many sides you want to have on your polygon by clicking on polygon and then typing in the number of sides. Mine says 3 right now because that's what I last used, but if I wanted it to have 6, I'd type 6 and hit enter. It turns into a hexagon. I could type 5 and enter. It turns into a pentagon. Notice I'm not coming down here and clicking. You can't actually click in here in the Microsoft environment. You may be able to in Apple. So I want to start with a triangle, so I'm going to type 3 and hit enter. And just to make this nice and easy, I'm going to put the center of my triangle at the origin of my 3 axes, and I'm going to drag. This will create an equilateral triangle with all vertices equidistant from the origin or the center. So now in order to create a pyramid, I'm going to use my line tool, which looks like a pencil. I'm going to go to an endpoint and then drag it to the center, and when you hover over the center, the computer tells you it's the center, which is very helpful. Let go. Then I'm going to go to another endpoint and drag to the center and let go, and do the same with the third endpoint and then let go. Now I'm going to drag that center part up, and you would think that you would use the push-pull tool, but you don't. Actually, you're going to use the move tool, and the move tool is right beside the push-pull tool. It's this one right here that looks like it's crossed with arrows. I'm going to come down to that center point, and once it's highlighted, mine's highlighting green, that means that I'm on top of that midpoint or that center point, and I'm going to click and drag it straight up. If I drag it straight up the blue line on the blue axis, it tells me that, which gives me some guidance. And I'm going to let go. Now I'm going to use the orbit tool to look around. So I'm going to click on orbit and look around. Oh, nice, pretty, perfect. Pyramid. So if you don't set it up this way, it can be kind of tricky. Like if you don't have the center right on the origin, it can be hard to get this piece that we dragged up to be right where we want it to be. You might end up with one that's skewed a little bit, which may or may not be an issue depending on what you're doing with your pyramids. So working around the origin can be very helpful. Now another thing to keep in mind is that the bottom is actually empty. You may not be able to tell that here, but our bottom is actually empty here. So I'm coming back down to the ground, looking at it from up top. So if I want to close this figure, well, let's start by just putting color on it so we can kind of see. So here's the blue line which goes up and down to help you visualize where we are. The green and red are the ground. Okay, so let's add some color by clicking on the paint bucket. I'm going to put pink on the side. I'm going to orbit around. I'm going to put pink on the other side, orbit around. And I'm going to put pink on this side. And then keep orbiting to give you a feel that all those sides are pink. And now if I go on the bottom's actually empty. And so what I can do is create a triangle right here to close that. Now it could be difficult to come in and create a perfect triangle on top of the bottom triangle. So what's actually easier is to take the pencil, go from vertex to vertex, and just create all the lines that you need. And then you can color that side. To create a rectangular pyramid, you can use your rectangle tool. I'm putting my rectangle on the flat ground, and then you proceed with the same steps that we did for the triangular pyramid. And so you use these steps with any of them. Now notice I don't have my rectangle with this blue line as the very center. So when I use the move tool to drag the center up, if I go up the blue line, it's going to be a crooked pyramid. So just kind of keep that in mind. So I'm going to take it off the blue line a little bit. And again, you would have to close the bottom by creating a rectangle and putting it on the bottom as well. You can determine exactly the lengths of any sides by using your pencil tool. This is a little harder, but it does allow you to control. Now here I'm parallel to the green line to help me know what plane I'm on. It says 7 feet, maybe 7 feet, 1 and 11/16 inches. I'm going to make it exactly 7 feet, except for I need to type in feet. So I can drag it, type 7 feet, enter. This is parallel to the red line to help me see what plane it's on. Maybe I wanted it exactly 8 feet, type 8 feet, enter. And now the trick here is being able to keep your figure with right angles if you want it to be a perfect rectangle, which can be a little bit tricky. However, being parallel to these lines can help us. So I'm going to put in 8 feet there. And then you'll see this didn't come out as an exact right angle, so it's not really a rectangle. However, you still make a pyramid out of it, and you can play around to make sure you get right angles, and using the 3 axes as your guide and being parallel to those axes can help you. And you can use the measurement tool if you create a figure and you want to see what the length is of any side by just dragging from endpoint to endpoint. So you click on the first endpoint when it turns green and then drag to the other, and when it turns green it'll tell you the length, and you can also look down here at the measurement toolbar.